Alright, let's see if this works. I'm gonna go check my YouTube real quick here, just to make sure that this isn't just dead. Library. My channel. Checking this on my phone, I'm gonna mute this, but I'm gonna see if it's actually sending the video. Okay, so that seems to be working. Let's see if, I should probably increase my voice volume a little bit here, so I'm going to try that. Otherwise, welcome. I'm trying to make a video here about something called In Other Waters. Saw this game on Steam for sale and just thought, gee, this is something I've never heard about, but it seems like it might be something interesting. I really hope that the music is in copyright with this. Actually, hold on, I'm going to, look the frig up if I can, quiet down the audio from the desktop here so that if YouTube actually is going to be nasty about this, that I don't get completely screwed. But otherwise, I've never played this game yet, never heard anything about this game, and all it said was that this is an exploration game. So I've played a game kind of similar to this called Inner Space, and Inner Space was a game kind of similar in its light. It was this indie exploration game, and I thought it was interesting, so I'm hoping that this is going to be the same kind of experience for me. Let's see what this is like. Bakil exoplanet extraction. Transitioning, please wait. So far it seems a little imaginative, but not very much to go on. This is a game by Fellow Traveler, if you can't tell. There was a huge sale just recently about that entire studio. I didn't see that many interesting games from them, but it's apparently made by Jump Over the Age, which wasn't listed on the Steam, which keeps popping up in this game, so I don't know if I'm missing anything here. But hopefully this turns out to be a good product. If not, oh well, it's just $8. I really couldn't be bothered. Music and sound. Should quiet this down a little bit because it's getting loud. I'm kind of sorry. I really actually do want to let you hear this music. This music doesn't sound too bad so far, but I have no idea what YouTube's going to do because YouTube is YouTube. So yeah, I'm not really coming to YouTube. This has actually probably been the first time I've actually put a... don't tell me that actually... Don't actually tell me that's... Yeah, okay, never mind, that's part of the game. For a second I was like, did the game just have a crash? Okay, never mind. Okay, then, I don't know if y'all read all that, but something's happened. It says X. This is Dr. Elgar Rivas. I urgently all need systems of this suit activating. Question mark. I'm locked out and I'm 20 meters below the surface. Say again, this is Dr. Elgar Rivas. Any operator or personas on this suit, please respond. Operator, activate all settings, pilot authorization granted. Seeing the heading panel coming online. So she's not scared about that. Let's start depth. Dive panel is active. Currently reading is 20 meters. So it's about being underwater, for sure. Definitely knew it was going to be about it being underwater. This looks like an underwater topographical map. Utilities available. Sample storage terminal reservation seem to be installed. don't seem to know what you're doing. You're not an operator, are you? They don't respond like this. Well, I mean, I don't even know what the fuck I am. So, like, you know, I'm just sitting here watching you breathe. I knew there was something strange. It looks decades old. Look, we don't have time for this, so whatever program system you are, I need you to work with me. You need to respond to voice commands, so that's a start. We need to head north. Explain once we get on, but right now I'm locked out half the systems of the suit. Someone somehow has reason to only respond to internal messaging that means you. So I'm going to need you to take control. Let's get moving, take me north, and to leave. Please. Active area. Huh. Okay, don't know what I'm doing. Let's see if I can't figure out how to get this girl moving. Or dude, or something. Maybe even an alien. RT and LT are zoom in and zoom out. Left button opens the secondary panel, but when I try to rotate my left stick, it doesn't actually do anything? So I don't know what's going on here. Is it up and down? Do I have to change these register values? Active area. Clicking sticks, nothing's happening. Links, no links. I'm pretty much pressing every button. I'm not getting anything. Southern Gully feature. Steep rock walls rise up towards the surface on either side. The floor is layered with a pale sand. Oh, you have to walk to markers. Oh, okay. Good. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Let's keep moving north. Boulder fills the passage, blocking out the warm light of the Gliese 667 CC's 3 stars. 3 stars? What is this, Tatooine with water? Soft currents, softly flowing water is filled with glittering particles of organic matter, signs of rich and thriving life all around. Let's go. More blips. Look in the water. Are those spores and stalks to the west? They look like huge fungi. This is unbelievable. Actual alien life. How could Minnie have kept this place a secret? Siren notes, some telltale signs on approach, but here it is. First extraterrestrial life as humanity has ever discovered. Yeah, I don't know what to believe either because I can't see. I'm just a robot. Beds of stalks. Fungal creature made up of series of stalks planted and touched. The rock color ranges from dark amber to acidic yellows. Stalks are beautiful. I wonder how they feed, how they grow, how they communicate. This place, this planet needs to be studied. Keep scanning creatures and I'll keep notes. Once we gathered enough data, I'll name and log species. No matter what happens here, this is vital work. Bed of stalks. The creature membrane appears to be made of layers of chitin. like earth anthropods or fungi. Excuse me. Lids of these creatures coat the pale rocks. These plants are animals. They are unlike any earth coral or sponge. Protected by the ridges from the currents, this could be a safe haven for younger or softer species. You know what? I'm thinking I should switch to mouse controls. Controls on controller are just not working quite right. I can't get the accuracy I think the system wants. More so might explain why some of these other elements do not function. Let's see if we can't walk here. What were those creatures? They were hidden amongst the squiggly. Quickly, try to get a scan. These colonies are producing a shifting hum. Perhaps it's a form of communication. Wait, does it just say... Yeah, okay, so it keeps saying the same thing over and over again. I'm seeing spores entering and exiting the slits in the stalks. Something is being exchanged. The piles of small stones could be a creature. I've gathered them here, or are they just the currents? Don't know. At least I wouldn't friggin' know, and I can't seem to talk today. Blech. I'm only so good at talking. I'm not very good at it. These stalks are covered in spores of all size. Perhaps we can take a sample of one of the larger ones. When in position, you'll have to take the sample, open up the sampling utility. We got one. Biological samples are vital tools for analyzing and understanding creatures. Oh, really? But the suit should allow you to deploy any sample back into the ocean. How about you test it out? Hold and drag it over to the central compass. It says deploy and slide this. Great, that's working as it should. Look, those creatures are coming for the spores. Why in these ones in particular, I wonder? Perhaps different spores carry different compounds, each with a specific purpose or message. Isn't that strange? Fungi from Earth with networks of exchange. Maybe these stalks are the same. Anyway, I'm not sure why let's keep moving. She's very doubtful of herself. It sounds like a she, the way it talks. Kind of just sitting around, not in the sense that she's not doing nothing, but she's sitting around observing rather than making action. Or at least not willing for action. Dudes would tell you, go over there, I think I see something over there. Girls be like, wow, look at this. It's one of those odd traits you start to realize if you've been around both of them for long enough. And not to cause offense to anyone, just, it's something weird. I don't know why people do it. Fungal sample. Striped with luminous colors, these flexible flapping creatures move rapidly with the water with little effort. Such lively creatures and colorful too. I'll log the observations. How can you log them if you're locked out of the suit? Wouldn't it be the same as when they lock you out of the suit in Crisis and you can't move at all? This huge rock sits amongst layers of lichens. Could have grown here during a volcanic active period in the planet's history. Fungal creature communicates through sense of spores and reflecting the ecosystems here. I'm uploading notes. Let's call these reef stalks. We can classify the species in lab. Well, rather interesting. Okay, so back to movement. Let's Let's see if we can't figure out a position to move to. Reef growths normally don't impede progress, but I'm guessing whatever the frig we are, we're sitting at a constant depth, so I'm assuming we're on a sandbar of some sort? I would assume that these terrains sections that are moving up and down, they must be rock formations, and the colonies have formed in these crevices between the rock formations, either because it blocks currents or because what would you call it? Provides a more habitable breeding ground for such species. Spores from the main part brought into the southern nurseries are here by a steady current. I get the feeling that this is like... There only a yellow dot there. It's very tiny. I don't know if you'll actually be able to see it as viewers. But there is very little going on here. So what does that button do then? Can I ask you something? I've worked with AI before, but you aren't like them. They're predictable, programmatic, dull, their intelligence allows them to log in progress data, that's all. Not really, if you've actually seen them, they're very complex. You're different, I feel like you are alive, do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, why'd they put a person behind this section of the game instead of the other way around? What are you doing in this suit? These creatures appear with the movement of siphon jets concealed beneath the mantles. They are incredibly fast. These creatures chase stalk spores with enthusiasm. Is this their food source? They aggressively pursue certain spores but ignore others. Can they detect differences in mineral content? Probably. Bottom feeders back on Earth kind of have that pattern. They understand what exists in a small local space. Ah, yes, this is a place where I can grab spores of it. Of course, everything starts off with fungus, though. So, I don't know why the game's decided to go in that direction. It's a bit of an odd choice. The current running into the reef slows here, but further north the water whips the rift with very great speeds. Huh. Let's hope we aren't walking into death. The tip of a long rift. Wide and long, with sheer rock walls either side, this deep rift channels unpredictable current. Versus what seems to be a spore area? If it matches the same as these spores, but these spores are larger. What is this? Overgrown arch. Covered in hardened stalks, perhaps its slow current passing through brought the spores to settle here. I guess it would make more sense than most of this shit I see. Let's walk to our sporey friends and see what they have. Ooh, big dots. Why big dots? Large stalk. Static creature made up of one huge flexible stalk. Unclear swaying in the current is produced by the stalk's body. Each one a vertical ecosystem. What do you mean? They are leaking spores into the water as fruiting bodies attached to their skin bloom. How do you know that's not just them putting out like their own version of pollen? Many of these stalks leaking particles in the water as they sway. Are these spores or something else? These larger stalks sway all around the base and they almost resemble branchless trees bending in storm. I mean, we are breathing in water, so like wind currents and water currents have been historically known to actually have a degree of effect on one another, so I would not be surprised if it looks like, well, nature. Flex with spores, this water runs hard. The suit can't push further without better propulsion. Right, so this is a vector you can't go to until we get something. Power usage hits maximum when I try to make the suit move. Did you see that? The stalks responded to our movement. They extended as it was passed through the arch. Perhaps it's the sound? We should be careful not to get trapped in here. The suit's power capacity is limited. There's a lot of activities, creatures grazing on, living amongst the stalks, forming an ecosystem. Large stalk. The chitin of the stalks, man? Oh, right, the material. It's very hard. Flexibility is given by surface of overlapping plates. Oh, so the fungus is actually starting to make, like, its own armor. Oh. That doesn't sound like The Last of Us. Great. Zombie spores. Here we go. Look over to the southwest. That stalk is calcified. Looks like a good sample candidate. Plates of the stalk surface passing over one another must be producing a distinctive hum. These creatures must be related to the other stalks and have a separate purpose to the lower beds. The growth gets heavier as we travel north. Something about giving a name makes it feel safer, more familiar. Why would you do that? It's safe to assume singing of these stalks relates to communication between colonies elsewhere. This huge stalk is totally still. Its plates harden into a rocky shell. Can it be revived, or is this what death looks like? Well, she said samples, so samples. There's lots of dead material. Oh, I missed something. There's lots of dead material. We should be able to take multiple samples. Fungal 15% tissue. Fungal 15% tissue. The chitin appears to be hardened with calcium carbonate. That would be useful if we need a boost of our power. The suit is able to metabolize organic compounds to produce fuel. Just direct them to the power plant. The suit displays how much oxygen power each sample can produce. No point in wasting important samples. With these, we can keep one sample so we can analyze it and use the other for a power boost. Wait, so we only get 2 of those samples ever? Oh, I see. So the inside line is how much power we're using, the outside line is how much power we contain. Does that go for oxygen components as well? I hope I don't kill whoever the fuck's in here. I really don't. Yeah, watch me be a freaking idiot and manage to have that end up being a problem. Vector locked. Sing stalk, producing large stalks that sway with a distinctive hum. Part of the network is the stalks of which are found across the reef. I've named them sing stalks for the strange hum. What is the precise function? I find it kind of funny that specific text that says pilot at the bottom actually gets a little blurry when you zoom in because it doesn't sample like the rest of the stuff on the UI. Or at least I think it does. Either that or they did it on purpose. Overgrown arch, vector blocked. Whoa, are we not able to go the way we came? Ah, new vector path. Space between here is the rock with thick with stalks. The elaborate patterns they trace across the reef are beautiful. I would like at least a slight description beyond that. It's kind of a very basic description of things. The relationship between these creatures and the stalks is unclear. They camouflage themselves amongst amber colony. See, at least that tells me that it has some color that, like, they resemble to each other. The rocks here are clear of stalks and other growths. Their absence is a territorial marker or a side effect of condition. I wouldn't know. Not myself, anyway. Excuse me? Oh, so the overgrowths keep me from going back. Oh, that's a bit of a dick move. Is this how the game forces progression? Probably. Alright. A large cavern drops down into the reef here. Its entrance is shadowed by the surrounding rocks. Water is still yawning entrance to the cavern. There are no signs of stalks or other reef life around the entrance. Clear descent. So that's what the colors mean. Patchy sunlight coming through the broken roof as it allows stalks to grow here if that's what they require. A tall bubble-coated stalk which sits amongst the reef colonies, covered in wise arising pores. These small stalks seem to watch over the smaller colonies. Question mark. Fungal creature on the reef stalks, but what we just scanned was a tall stalk. Soft sunlight spills down into a long, thin stalk stretching towards the light. A coating of large glassy bubbles clears its skin. Stalks mesh across the cavern here, hardened into a near solid wall of tubes and plates. Clogged tunnel. There's a sample candidate here. Let me guess, we gotta do puzzles. Glitch in, none. Signal, partial. Signal. These gaseous bubbles are intriguing. The interior gas is at an elevated pressure. If the membrane ruptured, the sac would screech as it depressurized. Is this part of the system we have across the reef? I have an idea. Try deploying one by that block tunnel over there. I want to see how the stalks react just traveling over. retracted. Bubbles must be kinds of signal system. I'll call them shrill sex for that squeak. Oof. Okay, sorry about your hearing there, bud. Caverns, curves away in both directions. It's hard to see the way ahead. Let's get moving. So I guess you're wondering where we are heading. There's a way station just north of here on a finger of this reef. I want to find it. My shuttle touched down hours ago at Floating's research base to the south where I found the suit. I'm here looking for a Dr. Mine Numara, chasing a message all the way from Earth. It must sound mad coming out here, a planet in the tail of Scorpius, just to follow a message. Is Scorpius like an actual thing, or is that just something they made up? Wait, do you know where we are? But how? We are in Glee 667, we're supposed to be in our unremarkable world if it wasn't for all this life. Somehow exoplanet passed it by. How did Mine know to come here? Is that why she contacted me to verify her discovery? And where is she? Look, let's find the way station, then I can start piecing together what's going on. Yeah, like so, this is probably the first action I've actually been requested out of this character. Which again makes me think that she's female, so. Cavern narrows here. Actually, no, it's the second one because she also. No, wait, third. Oh no, now I can't fucking remember. Great, might actually not be a woman. Cavern narrows here. Small eddies of water twirl in the silt. This might be the last exit to the caverns. Current can be felt drifting, bringing with warm clouds of silt. There's no, like, indications of anything being there, which is what kind of confuses me when it says something is there in these descriptions. An area we can climb. Feel some unseen processes shaping the growth patterns of the reef. What invisible borders am I crossing? Glittering stalk. This thin stalk sits among the bend of other growths, exuding bright bubbles through its pores. Stalks of this kind seem to produce different bubbles depending on nearby stalks. They're predictors. More sample? Sample. Sample available. These do not produce power. These produce power, but they're not very good at it. So fungal entities are what produces this power. These are all signal-based. Scattered boulders. Something about the remains. Deep rifts of the southern reef just suggest a violent geological past. Sing stalks. Isolated stalk. Unlike the other specimens, this stalk sits alone away. It's hard to tell if it's the beginning of a colony or an end. Stalks are more sparse between the rock outcrops. This might be the easiest path north if I can clear the way. Wrong button. Get me out of this. There we go. Stalks are thick here, a sea of amber, waving fingers that must be cleared before we can pass through. So, deploy samples? Navigating these dense growths is like finding your way in a labyrinth, moving from clearing to clearing with little sense of what's ahead. Hey, there it is again. Mobile creature with a large translucent cell and four swimming appendages it uses in a rapid rowing motion. These creatures are beautiful. I'll start logging data as we find them. Tall stalk. Some creatures of these tall stalk directly, perhaps because they... Wait. Target these tall stalks because they keep them away from the other softer stalks nearby. Bubbles like huge pearls glint amongst the stalks. How did the tall stalks produce these screeching sacs? Growth patterns of the stock suggest a territorial network. Are we underestimating the complexities of life forms? It could be that they are just one life form instead of multiple smaller life forms, like that one thing with mangrove trees, right? These creatures collide amongst the reef stalks with great care and precision, so they appear to be grazing. Set of feeding appendages. Occasionally, when the creature scrapes the stalks, they retract the signal to attract the nearby colonies. There seems to be some tolerance for the creatures scraping the stalks, only when it cuts too deeply. Tall bubble-producing stalks that protect minor stalk colonies, a key part of the network. I'm going to call these signal stalks for the signaling play they role in the ecology. East and western stalks, as far as the eye can see, fade off into the silt like towers of a miniature city. More bubble-producing stalks, they are sentries designed for early warnings or last-stage defenses of the colony core. It sits in a forest but carries the atmosphere of one being immersed, interlocking natural processes of life and death. That's it, we're through. This place is overwhelming. So many new species. This is the central reef I saw in Minae's mass. That shelf flattens out here. Piled stones, a set of smooth stones connected in a pile. Sitting together in a pile, could a creature have gathered here? Is this a nest? Two boulders covered with tiny stalks coating of fur waving in the current. Forest edge. Last line of thick stalks before the sandy plains of the central reef. I would like to say goodbye. What is that? Another shelled creature. Only warn when it cuts too deeply. Is there any way for me to see like a history of this? I do not see anything on the maps. Don't know why I keep trying to look there. Okay, so we do have a pause menu, but... Oh. W set heading on move. Control scan off. Space scan on. Ripples of silk bounce in the sunlight back up through the water, giving a golden glow. The water beneath this outcrop feels cool, oceanic, soft currents scrape from the sandy rock face. The center of the reef is flat and sandy with few rocks to attach. The stalks struggle to see these waters. The sandy bay is going to be north of here. There it is. I see the way station. Okay. The way station set up by Minnie. She's seen better days. The functions beneath the coating of stalks. Need to get used to using control in space over here. This place is working. Let me see if I can find an access port. Minnie never did take care of her equipment. Some things never change. Sorry, give me a sec. I'm just trying to. We should be able to access any data. Just open the terminal and take a look. Spooking user. Data released to pilot console. Maximum cleared. I expected that. In the secrecy Minnie likes to operate under. The map mentions something Minnie calls the bloom out across north. She's been going back and forth. There's something there. Studying a unique species. How much you want to bet she was just keeping it from those extraterritorial peeps, whoever? The base's retrieval drone from the utility. Ah, so that's how you get home. The pale sand is unmoving, but to the north, a yawning chasm is turning towards our rift. Stalk is leaping spores from a wide slit. They are carried across soft sand by the currents coming from the east rift. Large smooth pebbles sit in the sand, and beyond I can see the sun's catching the amber terraces of another stalk forest. Category B biohazard. Well, what did you expect? You asked me an obvious question. Hooking up that strange casing of yours to the base took some work. And the OS here does not like to play nicely with whatever you are. I'm a foreign entity. You should have access to subsystems of the stack now. Minnie sees to repurpose them. Not everything is functional. Comms are shot, generator only works a little, and the retrieval drone is missing. I've booted up the dive bay's mapping systems at Santos. The lab is also aligned with analysis and integrated taxonomy. taxonomy? Logging creatures. Take a look, I've already logged the creatures we discovered on our last dive. For any logged creatures, I'll also put sample requests in their text and entries. To fulfill these requests, find and transfer samples to the lab, analyze them. I can use that data to add to creature study. We need to register these species. Head down to the lab level and I'll take a look. Also, mark sample requests on the dive map. That way we can grab key samples in our studies while we were out in the ocean. We were going back out soon. While you were offline, I spotted a signal suit transponder. I can see its location on the dive map and I want to find it. Suit transponder means a suit, and a suit means an A. Got a bad feeling about that. I'll need your help. The suit takes both of us to pilot it, and it's the only one I've got. Once we're done exploring the base, load into the dive map, we can head out from there. The way she says conquest makes me do think that whoever those exo people were, that's going to end up being part of why she kept this a secret. Why does she need a shuttle transponder? Why is everything labeled no V? I can't say anything to Vass. Observation cluster. These notes mention something called the bloom across this rift, but until we have stronger propulsion, we won't be able to cross it. Sample request, reef stalks root. According to the map data, these caves cut back under the forest. Perhaps they are exposed roots inside. Where strong currents or batter the stalk forest might be a good place to find exposed or damaged sing socks. The base has detected a suit transporter at these coordinates. Need to head to base to the east rift to find out. Odd. I don't have any options to actually go up or down in the maps, so I get the feeling that the underside map is purposefully hidden. I don't know why. Are we back in the suit? I'm assuming we're back in the suit. So, if I zoom out, am I able to view any more of the map, or am I only able to view the immediate sectors? Notice a smaller spotted variants of the creatures. A sexual dimorphism? These might be the males. What makes you think they're males as compared to anything else? By spots. Is spots something that happens with males in most animal kingdoms? I can't seem... Oh, there we go. I can use my wayfinder now. Vector blocked. We still have most of our samples, right? I find it odd they don't make you search for the samples manually. Like, you just need to keep the sample tab open to be able to see whether or not there are samples in an area. That would be very interesting if they did that. Like, finding keys in a dungeon. This seems to be done on purpose. Do more samples show up if you move away from a location and back to it? I wonder, because I thought that we only were able to collect so many samples from a location. So the previous locations we were at were south of here. But I get the feeling that it wants us to travel east? I can't remember what the map looks like. I'm not very good with my memory. I guarantee you that this game wants me to memorize some stuffs. Let's collect some samples while we're here. Boppity boopity. Oh. Uh-oh. No new waypoints. No new waypoints. Give me my friggin' control. Can't do nothing if I can't control nothing. A square popped up on the map for a sec there. I wonder if that's from my deployment or if that's from the actual thing. Well, I wouldn't know myself. I don't know very much about this game. I literally jumped into this game not knowing a damn thing, and as much as it's not a disappointing experience, it's nothing that was as amazing as Inner Space. Inner Space had this very natural feeling to it, and I felt a hell of a lot more connected to things and the planet and the alignments and all that. Discovering things was actually in real space and time, so you actually saw what happened. This is just descriptions in text. This text isn't very descriptive. It's actually kind of short sometimes. Renee held this base to salvage the parts of a base to build she needed. She must have been many months here before I arrived. Are those comments of EV? western side of the finger becomes increasingly enclosed. Some ruined equipment lies in the shelter of 2 boulders, an early way station perhaps. Open sand. I can see faint shapes of stock colonies rising and grows. The edge of the strange terraces, this underwater forest stock sits like a sentry armed with a curtain of bubbles. Patterns of stalks stretch back into the distance, pathways and terraces of some unknown design. This must be the western stock forest. So this probably isn't a direction I'm supposed to be going, but I'm going to just see if there's very much in this direction. If not, I can always just go home. Unlike the southern reef, stock shears are ordered in curving rows, tightly packed and evenly spaced. Not anymore! I am messing with the natural order. Look at me, Mommy. I'm messing with extraterrestrial life forms. I am going to kill something. Quite horrible when you think about it. This game seems very niche in its presentation. I don't have a lot going on other than moving to waypoints on a map, which kind of makes it feel more like a flight simulator than it does an actual sea exploration game. Stalks bulge out from their bases, forming rounded pulsating roads that are discolored and stretched. They look ill. Another reef, tall stalks dotted with translucent bubbles. Stalks spread in thick pathway, curving between the strangely corroded stones. Corroded stones. It's the first mention of corrosion anywhere that I've noticed outside of the acidic-looking properties of the actual fungi. Alright, let's see if we can't keep going. Yep, look, another boy. Avenues of stalks seem to spark a loose perimeter around each bloated growth. Why? As they curve south, the stalks meet the rising wall of rocks which shelter the southern reef. The membrane of these stalks is thin enough to be translucent, stretched to a breaking point by whatever is inside. How much you want to bet that this is gonna be zombie fungi? Set silently among the terraces, the stalk bristles with bubbles waiting to breach at the first sign of a predator. More sample? Sample. I has samples. I has samples. Guess who's gonna use samples? Samples! Time to walk. I wonder if these grow back when you walk away from them, or over time. Stalks on the loose perimeter, which bulges and settling as if it's about to burst. It'd be easy to become lost in these complex patterns of rows of stalks. I wonder where they lead. When alarmed, these stalks burst open, releasing their toxic contents. Could they be defending themselves? apparently this is hurting the oxygen system. Move out of here, perhaps. Toxic microbial colony found inside bloated stocks. Did I just cause an infection amongst stocks here? Let's get away from this. There is a clear path off in this direction. Let's get that. More samples. I find it odd that there's a very clear intersection point where you reach an edge as compared to running around in a circle, like this compass sort of configuration should work. To the west, Down's final pathway of stocks before the colony fades out into the sand and rock. Let's get over here and out of the danger zone as soon as I can. I am probably gonna see, let's move to another location here so that I don't get within whatever affected radius these can cause, but I want to see if one of these signals will cause it to burst. Yeah, so those are triggered by the same thing as how many others? Hopefully I haven't just screwed myself making an acid path along the forest base. Let's go back home. So I have samples. I want to see if there's a way to put these in the system, because I don't think that happened before. Text logs? Is there really nothing I can do to put any of my samples in here? Oh, here we are. I wonder if I get more by doing it more than once. Keep saying that it's updated. 2 shriek sacks. Root sample analysis required. Analysis of stock spores has revealed a rich cocktail of compounds unique to each spore, some of which are previously unknown to human chemistry. This aspect of the spores and their noticeable exchange between colonies of stocks suggests that these chemical cocktails are a part of an information exchange network. However, some of these spores also appear to be true spores. For the asexual reproduction of stock colonies, it's a fungus, what you expect, suggesting the information-carrying spores are adapted, modified. Analysis also suggests that the stock... It's gonna take me forever to read all of this. I don't know if y'all want me to friggin' go through all of this, but I'm gonna highlight these for you. You're able to pause the stream, or the video, if you are watching this afterwards. You probably are. And you'll be able to read it from there. Or you could get this game yourself. I mean, that's also always an option. Sample already analyzed. Further analysis possible. Do I just keep repeating this? Like, I don't know what it wants. Let's see if I can't figure out how to get there. And then we have to keep going there. So we're going east. Bagel. Let's see about moving east. Layered outcrop. The stalks are notably absent from the sides of the northern rift. Why do they leave such a clear buffer zone? There's nothing but waypoints out here. This game should have more stuff. This just feels like a really dead area, and even though it's supposed to be having all these details, I'm not seeing any of these details on the map. It's a bit odd. Can I not go around the other side of this or something? I can only go out to the cribs. With amassed amounts of time of research, if you've ever seen anything going on in fields of science and study, there is often very little time to actually get things committed and done according to those who are overseers to most of these things. Whether it be from studies that are pushing agendas or whether or not they just only have so much funding, a lot of these scientific studies and research. Source of the transponder signal. Don't know what to expect with the transponders. Maze. I haven't seen her in years. Nonsense. Yeah, you're gonna tell me about it later because you're friggin' gullible. Friggin' like how many other characters in video games. Well, I mean, like, I don't think people are that strong to begin with, so knowing how everything's been the last couple of years. If you don't know, somehow haven't been living under a rock for so long, I'm making this recording just at what seems to be the end of what has been called the coronavirus. This has been an event. What should have been a very simple, done over in only a couple weeks event, because of politics, has not been taken care of due to people calling each other racists whenever they want to interfere with what exists in terms of other cultures. So we had the Chinese New Year just as the virus broke out across multiple countries around the world, and instead of telling people, hey, stop traveling, we'll even allow you to delay this, we'll consider this another day off thing, you know, like, time doesn't have to be perfect, we'll celebrate Christmas early so that we're not fucked type of thing. Should allow us to bypass the rift, I'm not sure what will emerge. Oh, she said something and I missed it, damn it. Rift edge, vector blocked. Hidden shelf, vector clear, descent possible. The round mouth of the cave stretches away from the rock. Stalks hum quietly in the dark. Well, at least it's a little bit different than what we were seeing above. Let's go moving forward. He's moving though. There's a strange evenness to the walls, as if they have been bored. The stalks down here seem to get The stalks even seem to get down here. Perhaps they're less reliant on sunlight. They're a fungus. Funguses actually dislike sunlight, last I was told. We're in deep rock now. What form these hollowed out caverns with their strange undulating walls? I wonder how the stalks survive without sunlight. Maybe they're fed by the forest above. What do you think? Possible. It makes sense. Network of colonies tunneling through the shelf. Protecting an underground colony, the stalk signature coating of bubble glints in the dark. The cave starts to get tight here, and the shadows ahead. Stalks crowd the tunnel. Gimme the samples. Gimme. Has severed some sections of the stalks stretching. Oh, a cave-in has severed sections of the stalks stretching down from the forest. What can they tell us? Fungal tissues. Tangle of silken ropes from stalk colony, carbon enriched. This This will refill much needed power for now. Oh, we can get oxygen from these boys. Oh, that's very useful. Oh, I don't need to go home to fix my oxy. The stocks ahead are missing the pathway. Not anymore! Call in an airstrike! I actually don't feel too good about deploying these things on some of these things because I actually don't know what that does. I don't know if that's really bad for them even. From the east, the cavern is broken up by pillars casting strips of light. Go away with that section of the menu. Broken pillar. These pillars punctuate the cavern. Stalks crowded around their bases support the vast weight of the reef above. I guess I was right about that guess earlier. These bloated creatures are pumping clouds of spores in the water around the colonies and rise out of the sand. These dome stalks pumping out clouds of short-lived spores. They look like oversized mushrooms. We should start logging information on them. Well, why don't we get a little closer there, Miss Val? Was it Ellen's Val? I couldn't remember. Sampling. Sample. Fungal. Or as I would call it, fugal. These spores are different. The stalks nearby are stimulated by them. Could these spores be used to make stalks extend to bring them out of hiding? We could test them out on a retracted colony. I hate the fact I can't re-fucking organize my inventory. Unlike other spores which survive until settle, spores from these stalks dissolve moments after they are released. These stalks seem to be shriveling up. Is it because they are too exposed to the rift's currents? These large growths sustaining colonies with their spores, perhaps they carry nutrients or chemical signals. These sporing stalks seem to require particular conditions to grow. I've seen few elsewhere on the reef. Glittering stalk. This stalk sits quietly beside a dying colony. Soon there won't be anything left to prevent it from getting carried by scavengers. Another rift. How can we cross it? The current here is so strong. Oh, humans are ingenious and we always find a way. Now we just have technology and we expect it to work like a workhorse. But we forget that those who service these machines are more valuable than those who even built them. So hey, welcome to reality. Growth my ass. Why didn't it grow naturally? I wonder if the developers made it so that it takes a while for that to happen, or if the developers completely forgot about that. The story quite literally being that these types of samples will cause things to shrink away, whereas... Fix a system that doesn't need fixing just because I need to get rid of that. Tunnel mouth. Far side of the cavern narrows into the darkness. I feel the faint pulse of a distant current. current must have once run down the tunnel, scraping the walls smooth. The stalks block the flow. The tunnel head is thick with stalks, scraping the ceiling with their rounded tips. Dick joke. Can't move this way. How about... Light filters from the large opening, making the spores drifting in the water glitter like sparks. Glittering stalk tucked behind this pillar. Perhaps the stalk grew here as an early warning for predators coming through the cave. Look, the staves, they are retracted. Cave mouth ahead leaves the passage exposed to the full force of the current. Blocking it somehow will help us pass. Perhaps if we can make them extend, we could block the current. Yeah, gee, really, I freaking didn't get that friggin' vibe from the other message. But the current, these spores encourage them to extend and fill. With these soothe spores, we can control the stalks. This will be useful. Sporing stalk. Definite correlation between struggling stalk colonies and these stalks, or they help support these colonies. Whether of these grows supporting a small colony at the cavern's edge. Let's get some more samples. Look out in the rift, a retracted stalk colony. If we can get them to extend, they'll provide shelter from the current. Good eyes. Splattered with spores, the wall here feels the full force of the current. Perhaps it can be slowed upstream. Well, we just did. So, I mean, wouldn't that definition update? Even this close to the wall, the darkness of a deep rift is intimidating, a huge slit in the face of this world. How deep does it go? I wouldn't know. Let's find out. If the current can be slowed or navigated, this is the place to do it, where the rift narrows and gap opens up. Huge pillar sits out from the wall here, its top caked in retracted stalks, a golden guarding unit to emerge. Open rift, current slices down the rift. I'm gonna just detour here so I can pick up some more growing stuffs. Keep getting confused why the button doesn't work on its own. Then remember that the game arbitrarily makes me lock two things in place before I'm able to actually go there. Could understand that being part of the process, but wouldn't it be smarter to just hold the button and have that automatically go? You'd think the machine would do this automatically, you know. Cross. Thank you, Stonks. Oh, and thank you too. Don't even give me credit. I fucking just did what you told me to. Yeah, I'm just the fucking robot on the back of a machine that I don't even understand. Circle of warm light in this tunnel opens into an upper shelf. It lies in the East Reef. Let's climb. Whoa. Stalks. Stalk canopy. These stalks are twisted together into a huge canopy. They are pulsating pores as the surface close. These canopies are spectacular. Let's see what we can find out about them. Bright petals. These photosynthetic plants, they float on long stems, shifting and swaying. She literally keeps going. Let's log data. Let's log data. Let's log data. Let's log data. Again. These plant-like creatures seem to unrelate to the reef stalks, their soft petals waving on thin stems. Wait, that's the thing I read earlier, and I'm just stupid. Anyhow, I don't know about the rest of you, but it feels good to be out in the sunlight again. Let's head northeast along this finger. The transponder is at the stalk barrier. A colony of stalks twisted itself tightly across this gap. Could be protecting something. The fractured outcrops break up the northern current, protecting the sandy shelf. While each planet seems to have a petal, they group together, forming fields of blooms angled in the sun. Petals seem to shimmer as they twist. It's difficult to tell if it's involuntary or part of the plant's movement. Or canopy. The coloration of these canopies is lighter than other stalks. They grow pale yellow with the sight of the suns. The towering canopy of woven stalks pulsates in the soft current, the sunlight slipping through the gaps in its branches. The outcrops of this shelf are cut through with huge cracks. They were shattered somehow. What could have done this? I don't know if you've ever seen a plant grow in the midst of concrete, but plants are fucking strong. They'll break through a lot of stuff, and they will destroy you if you're not careful. High up in the white canopy, I can see the stalks are twisted around strange ribbed growths. What are they holding up there? Probably spores. Canopy has many gaps twisting between its higher stalks as if something is falling out or been removed from it. Yeah, probably spores. Fungal creature communicates through sound and spores. Oh, it's reef stalks. Stalk colonies. Let me guess. Can't go through there. Yep. Nope. Can't go through two different locations. Let's drop off some shrieky boys and head this way. Frig, that's the wrong button. I can't stop doing the wrong damn button. All the way out here. Exposed roots. When the rock shelf has fallen away into the rift, the roots of the canopy have been exposed. We can sample them here. Have canopy root of stalk canopy made by twisting filaments. Bright pollen. Furred pollen extracted from petals in the east reef. On some petals there's thick clump of pollen. I wonder how this is dispersed. It seems too heavy to float away. Who wants to make bets that Monet is fucking dead or something? Oh, look, another base. Sampling available. Except my inventory's full. Snakies. I want to hold on to these roots where possible. Without canopy root. Pollen barely gives me anything on either end. Reef cap. Domed mushroom-like stalks appear to support struggling colonies with supply of spores. another way station ahead? Yes, it would be. I saw that coming a long time on scanner. Maine must have built them all across the reef. Table stock. They pulses the pores systematically open and close. This way station sits silent. I had the feeling there would be more than one. Let's see what data we can scrape. Spoofing user. Last history. History clear. Lockdown mode. The log suggests Monet was using this as some kind of staging grounds for expeditions over the drop-off. She was looking for something in the ocean, something deep from the descents she logged here. Monet doesn't do things at random. The way stations, the research base, this is calculated. I feel we are already 10 steps behind her, and we've barely even started. Let's get to that suit transponder. It isn't far from here. If we head straight north to the shelf's edge, we should be there. Well, unfortunately, I think I'm going to link back to base at this time. Let's request some retrieval, and we will redeploy there at another time. I'm thinking I'm going to end the stream here, boyos and girlios, and whoever elseos is here. Not that I know very much about any of this transgender stuff the last couple of years. It's gotten absolutely nuts, but there's been nothing behind any of it that people want to tell me. They tell me I'm an asshole if I say something, so I just say nothing. So I don't know what to do with most of my time and life in this space of things. Alright, that should give all of y'all a good chance to actually scan through all this stuff. I'm going to save and quit the menu. I do thank you if you watch this video and or stream. I don't know if this is going to save when I turn it off, so I may even be talking in a sense that's never going to be seen. But I do thank what few will ever see this. And if I somehow become popular later on and you come to see this anyways, well, I hope you enjoy the channel, and hope you have a good day, have a good time, have a good life. I'll see you some other time.